Hello and welcome to the history of movie theaters and drive-ins for the Wyoming Valley, including Lackawanna and Luzerne counties for 1940 to 1959. (1940) The Lark and the new Larksville Theaters in Larksville opens. 1941 The Plains Theater opens. 1942 The Hershker Theater in West Hazelton is renamed Key on August 24 as it is expanded to 600 seats. 1942 These theaters closed in 1942. 1943 These theaters closed in 1943. 1945 The Roxy Theater in Hazelton closes. 1947 The Sunset Drive-In in Mountaintop opens on July 6. 1948 The Comerford Theater in Clark Summit opens on March 4. The Hazelton Drive-In in Drums is opened by Comerford Theaters on May 1. The Comerford Drive-In in DuPont is opened by Comerford Theaters on September 4. 1949 The Ideal Drive-In in Carbondale opens in April. The Popular Drive-In in Freeland opens on June 18. The Dallas Outdoor Theater opens on July 10. The Paramount Theater in Wilkes-Barre is opened on September 4 at the site of the Comerford Theater. The Circle Drive-In opens in Dixon City on September 10. November 23, the Comerford Theater, 2, in Wilkes-Barre is opened by Comerford Theaters. The Roxy Theater in Wilkes-Barre opens. These theaters closed in 1949. 1950 The Little Art in Scranton is opened by Comerford Theaters on January 28. The Comerford Theater in Scranton reopens on May 4. The Mid-Valley Drive-In in Carbondale is opened by Comerford Theaters on May 20. The Laurel Drive-In in Hazelton opened on June 24. The Little Art Theater in Wilkes-Barre is opened by Comerford Theaters at the site of the Strand Theater on October 3. The Joy Theater in Plymouth opens. 1951 The Oak Hill Drive-In in Moosic opens on May 28. The Strand Theater in Sawyerville closes. 1952 April 25, the Moonlight Drive-In in West Wyoming opens. The Garden Drive-In in Hunlock Creek opens in July. The Capitol Theater in Larksville opens. Comerford Theaters closed these theaters in 1952. 1953. The Midway Drive-In in Wilkes-Barre opens on June 9th. These theaters closed in 1953 as television became popular. 1954. The Riverview Drive-In in Pittston opens on September 3rd. The Kingston Theater becomes an art theater on October 17th. The Luzerne Theater is dropped by Comerford Theaters. These theaters closed in 1954. 1955. The Wilkes-Barre Drive-In opens on June 26. The West Side Drive-In in Larksville is opened by Comerford Theaters on July 22nd. The Penn and Sterling Theaters in Wilkes-Barre was closed by Comerford Theaters. 1956. These theaters closed in 1956. 1957. The Midway Drive-In in Wilkes-Barre closes. 1958. The Palace Theater in Wilkes-Barre closes. 1959. The Ashley Theater in Ashley closes. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.